there, Chris Holt here again. Time for another exciting agenda preview. This one is for the Development and Heritage Standing Committee meeting coming up on Monday, April 8th at 4:30 p.m. in City Hall Council Chambers. And again, this is a public meeting. You can come in, show your pretty face in person. You can stream it at the link below. I would love to have you, love to have your input. So, like I said, this is a standing committee meeting. So this is a preliminary meeting to discuss issues before they go to council. So if there's something in here that interests you, and there's a few things that I'm going to be alluding to, and you want to come to speak to it, you can come to speak to it. You can share an email or something with one of the members of the committee, have your input here, and then again about a month later this stuff comes to council. So you actually have two opportunities to speak to things on this agenda. So I'll get right into it here. So item 7.1, that is rezoning. It's RC flood drain. It's 3112 Wyandotte Street West in Ward 2. So if you're in Ward 2, there is going to be some infill development going on at 3112 Wyandotte Street West. It's three two-story townhouses, and from looking at the drawings and everything, it looks like it should fit in pretty good with the surrounding neighborhood. So it should actually be a good infill. And then moving over to 7.2, like almost the identical thing, but this one's at 759 Rankin, again in Ward 2. This is again three two-story townhouses. You will see the plans below, or you'll take a look at these things. Again, they should fit in fairly well with the neighborhood. It's not some of this, obtrusive redevelopment that's going along that doesn't fit with the flavor of the neighborhood. So that's item 7.2. So moving on to item 7.3, that's moving over into Walkerville, and this is the building that we've been watching rise from the ashes. This is the Walker Power Building at Riverside in Devonshire. So you've been seeing a lot of action going on there. It's been over a year now that the developers have had that building, and they've been redoing it. This is a bureaucratic issue. They're rezoning to actually allow the mixed-use commercial and office space within that building that they're renovating it for. They're also going to be putting a fifth story on there. So right now it's a four-story building, about 117 years old. And so they're going to be putting a fifth story on there, but because it's a heritage building, they have to adapt to a lot of the constraints with dealing with a heritage building, and they're doing that. So that is item 7.3 in Walkerville. So item 7.4, it's another infill development. This is out in Ward 6 at 863 Lausanne Road. So this rezoning there's two vacant parcels of land right on Lausanne Road that they want to put up a duplex on each one. So again, it should fit in fairly well with the neighborhood. There's some larger buildings there. I believe there's a two-story to the north of that building. But again, take a look. You'll find the link to the actual agenda, which shows all the drawings and shows exactly what they're trying to do. So I'm just giving you a little snapshot here about those redevelopments. Okay, so then we move on. Like I said, that is the planning aspect of the meeting. So we'll move on into to the heritage part of the meeting. So there's three parts. Remember, I went over this with you before. Planning, the first part, heritage, the second part, and then administrative matters, the third part, which tends to be more bureaucratic, like alley closures, that type of thing. So item 10.1, it's a new residential building in the Sandwich Heritage Conservation District. So this is interesting in numerous ways. This is the first infill new build in a Heritage Conservation District in the city of Windsor. So there's going to be something to watch for there. So what they want to do is they want to construct 8 attached two-story townhouses right in the Heritage Conservation District. So this is a pretty big infill. The neighbors will probably want to really look up on this and see what they're doing, because the scale of what they're proposing here, it's a little out of sorts for the rest of the neighborhood. So we'll again take a look at the image and see what you think. Okay, so that's happening within the Heritage Conservation District, and when they build in the Heritage Conservation District, they actually have to do a little bit extra every now and then. So they have to suit the scales of the building buildings, the building mass, some of the appearances of the building, so it fits in with that heritage conservation aspect of the neighborhood. That's really what they wanted to do. They wanted to fit in with the flavor of the neighborhood. Okay, now this is in the administrative matters. So this is a Brownfield Redevelopment Community Improvement Plan. So this is, again, in Ward 4. This is where the old Seagrave fire truck factory used to be on Walker Road, just south of, what's it now? It's Walkerville Eatery now. It's the old California's Roadhouse. So you remember that building burnt down maybe, let's say, 10 years ago. So the owner is applying, and he's got all the detailed drawings done. Shovel should be going in the ground very, very soon for 12 two-story live-work townhouses. Very, very sympathetic and very in tune with the neighborhood. But these are live-work units. So there's actually a commercial aspect to the bottom for lawyers, for hairstylists, that type of thing. So he's coming to the city looking for the Brownfield Redevelopment CIP, the Community Improvement Plan, to help pay for this thing. And this is something I'm all in favor of, because that little bit of tax abatement that we give to the owners of properties like this is the thing that pushes them over the edge to actually construct within our core city. And that's something we desperately need. Otherwise, it's a lot cheaper for a developer to go out to a greenfield site out by the airport, and they don't have to pay for any remediation of any contaminated soils or anything like this. So this is something I think is very good for the city to be a part of, and it helps build up our the density within the core. Okay, then we go over to another one in Ward 4. I feel very popular right now. Another economic revitalization CIP. Now this one is for the old Monarch Mattress building at the corner of Gladstone and Wyandotte. You remember it's sort of been idle there for a couple years. Well, the owner there wants to do a mixed-use performance arts type of rehab in that building. So what she's doing is putting a couple commercial units in the front, retail, and then performance arts theater space in the back. So that performance arts theater space is the part that's actually it's good for the community improvement plan, and she will get some tax abatement for doing that, bringing some more arts and culture into our neighborhood. And then there's one other thing. There's we're making a new bylaw for the integration of electronic changing copy signs. So it's basically the electronic billboards. There's been some complaints about the brightness of it, the amount of flicker that there is to it. So we're just codifying what it is that you can do with your electronic sign. So that is the Development and Heritage Standing Committee meeting coming up on Monday, April 8th at 4:30 p.m. right in Council Chambers. I urge you to look through the material that is linked to below. You can stream it on your computer as well. It's almost like being there, and play a part in the development of your community. Thanks again for watching. Take care.